Hello and welcome to an ATV Special Broadcast. I'm Nicole Pulley. Well-known figure Michael Dukakis has dedicated much of his life to American politics. Born in Brookline, Massachusetts, Dukakis served in the Massachusetts House of Representatives from 1962 to 1970. He was elected governor of Massachusetts on 2 separate occasions and in 1988 became the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. He was also named the most effective governor by the Democratic Governors Association. A U.S. Army veteran and graduate from Harvard Law School, Mr. Dukakis joins us to discuss his political career and the November elections. Mr. Dukakis, welcome to Special Broadcast. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
Now, let's briefly talk about the upcoming elections. The polls indicate that the independent supporters who supported President Obama back in 2008 won't be voting Democratic. And the New York Times indicates that 100 candidates for Congress, all of whom are Republican, support the Tea Party. Do the Democrats still have a chance? Can they win over these supporters?
We'll see. You know, 2 weeks in politics is a lifetime. And I think there's some evidence that this gap is closing. Frankly, don't ask me to explain it. I can't for the life of me understand why people would vote for folks who are committed to going back and doing exactly the things that got us into trouble in the first place. And I think the president's done a pretty good job under very difficult circumstances, given what he inherited. But we'll see. I mean, there's no question that the party in power tends to lose seats anyway in an off election, and it remains to be seen as to whether or not it's going to be a big loss or whether it's going to be very tight, and what kind of party distribution we'll have in the House and in the Senate as well. Regrettably, whatever the result, it's not going to help move things in the Congress. I mean, we had enough gridlock there as it is. The filibuster, I think, is a terrible thing, and it's, I mean, requiring 60 votes to get anything done in the Senate is absurd. It's not in the Constitution. I think it's probably unconstitutional, to tell you the truth. So I'm not awfully optimistic about the ability of the Congress, no matter what the party breakdown, to really get cracking on some of the challenges that face the country. But here we are. That seems to be the pattern. The president gets elected, does a lot in his first 2 years, and then from that point on, we have this kind of stalemate, which I think is very unfortunate.
Right. Now, with this recent emergence of the Tea Party, do you think that they're here to stay, or is it just a trend that'll die down slowly within the next couple of years?
I think, like a lot of these movements, it'll be quick and then it will kind of die. I mean, we had, what was it? The Christian Coalition at one point, which, at least to a very great extent, had the same philosophy and the same ideas. Frankly, I'm not quite sure I understand these Tea Party people. I mean, they love their Medicare and Social Security, but they don't want the government in their lives. I don't know what that means, but I mean, if they like Medicare and they like Social Security, I hope they understand it's the federal government that's providing it and the American taxpayers that are making it possible for them to enjoy this. But I don't think we're going to see the Tea Partiers around for the indefinite future. On the other hand, it's having a profound effect on the Republican Party. I mean, the number of Republican moderates is disappearing. Mike Castle's defeat in the Republican primary in Delaware, I thought, was devastating. Now, Castle and I were governors together. We worked together. He's a very decent guy, a very thoughtful guy, an easy guy to work with. And you throw him out in favor of this Donnelly woman, well, you know, she doesn't even know what's in the Constitution of the United States, let alone being qualified to serve in the United States Senate. And while I'm happy that, in all probability, the Democrats are going to hang on to the Delaware Senate seat, I think it's very unfortunate when you lose people like Castle, because he's such a good and decent guy, and a guy that I worked with very closely with the National Governors Association. We were deeply involved together in welfare reform with Bill Clinton and Tom Kean, another moderate Republican who was governor of New Jersey at the time. And that seems to be almost impossible. I mean, the number of Republican moderates is dwindling to almost nothing. And to the extent that the Tea Party people, at least temporarily, have that kind of an impact on the Republican Party, I don't think the country is well served by that. Right.
Now, elections for 37 of the 100 seats in the Senate are coming up within the next 2 weeks. What are your thoughts on Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell?
Well, look, I'm a Democrat. I like Reid. I think he's provided very impressive leadership. I'm not a fan of McConnell's. I mean, I don't know what McConnell stands for. You know, all during the debate over health care, somebody should have asked McConnell, hey, Mitch, do you believe that working people and their families ought to have decent, affordable health care in this country? Because 95% of the uninsured, 85% of the uninsured in this country are members of working families. This is not a welfare program. This is not some giveaway. I mean, if you're on welfare in the United States, you get Medicaid. These are overwhelmingly working people and their families, some of them working 2 or 3 jobs. And I just wonder, if you put that question to McConnell, what would he say? Now, of course, if they get so sick that they can't stand up, they end up in the emergency room at huge cost, and we're all paying for it as taxpayers and premium payers. So that makes no sense. So I don't understand McConnell. I don't know where he's coming from. If you go out and take a poll and ask the American people, should working people and their families have decent, affordable health insurance, 95% of them will say yes.
I'm going to have to stop you there. We're going to head to a commercial break, but more from Mr. Dukakis when we return.